You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph. It is Sunday, November 24th. We just got served another 49ers loss, and that pretty much spells the end of their season, or at the very least, the end of their playoff hopes for 2024, if there ever were any real hopes of that. Now, there's a lot to unpack with this game, but it's a lot of what we've been talking about all season. Injuries, penalties, more injuries, more penalties, 49ers shooting themselves in the foot at every turn. I mean, this loss really had everything. It was an everything burger of everything that's wrong with the 49ers this season. It really just summed it up. Of course, we know Brock Purdy, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams did not play in this game. Mooney Ward remained out as well. Brandon Allen got the start for the team. And we found out early in the game, Brandon Allen playing with a broken finger. He had a splint on his finger, non-throwing hand, but still that caught everyone by surprise because it's like, this dude hasn't even played in a game this season. How does he have a broken finger? When did this happen? Turns out it happened sometime in practice on a bad snap. But yeah, look, I'll start off with Brandon Allen. I wasn't expecting anything special out of Brandon Allen, and I didn't get anything special out of him. I'll say this: he did play better than I thought he would. That being said, like in the fourth quarter, it definitely all fell apart for the team. There were many points in this game where, even though the Packers led, it felt like the 49ers still had some chance. Like they had some chance to get it done. The Packers went up early in this game. Josh Jacobs is running all over the defense, and you think, oh God, this is going to be a really, really long day. I mean, after the first quarter, it was 10-0. The Packers had like 126 yards versus the 49ers 8. In the first quarter alone, the 49ers had 10 missed tackles, most by any team this season. Excuse me? So yeah, after that first quarter, I was like, dude, this is going to be ugly. And you look at the final score and you're probably like, yeah, it was ugly. But actually, like, it wasn't ugly the entire game. There were some points where it felt like the Packers were almost trying to give the 49ers some life. There were points in which, the 49ers did score a touchdown eventually after the Packers scored one of theirs. George Kittle got a touchdown. That was a great play. That was a good drive by the 49ers. That was in the second quarter. They go 17-7 at halftime. And this is really where it starts to look like 49ers season, right? Deebo Samuel, after halftime, gets a huge return. He takes it to like the red zone already, right? This return gets called back by Eric Saubert holding, and I know some people have been arguing about whether or not that's holding. It was holding. So yeah, let's just get that out of the way. It was holding. And it's not surprising because the 49ers had, I think, 3 straight penalties on special teams in this game. And it wasn't just on special teams that they were shooting themselves in the foot. It was at every turn, every point, every chance they could get to ruin the game for themselves, they did. So it would have been nice, 17-7, for the 49ers to have a shot at making it a 3-point game, which they very well, had there not been holding on that, would have had that opportunity. Instead, the 49ers turn it over on downs, even though the 49ers were having some success on the ground on that particular drive. I must say, Mason got a snap, and he had like 16 yards on his one carry. I thought maybe that would lead to more carries for Mason. We didn't see that. He did get more snaps at the end of the game, but by then it was like already too late. So anyway, but after that, the Packers punt, and then the 49ers throw an interception. Well, really, it was a perfectly thrown pass by Brandon Allen that went through the hands of Debo, which led to the interception. So that's why I don't think Brandon Allen was that bad. Debo should have caught that pass, but after that is when the Packers got a touchdown. So like it really started to unravel after that. And even then, there were some points in which it felt like, Jordan Love wanted to throw a pick to the 49ers so bad, and there were some close ones, and there were like 2 consecutive punts by the Packers. So even though it was like 24-10, a touchdown makes it a closer game. So I don't know. That I just felt like there were points to make it a game, make it interesting, even with all the injuries and all the negative circumstances surrounding the 49ers leading up to it, in which you thought they'd have no chances at all. Even with all of that, the 49ers did have some chances to make it a game, and ultimately they couldn't get it done. And that, I think, is the perfect encapsulation of the 49ers season this year. And actually, leading up to this, there was a very funny article I saw on Acme Packaging Co., which is like the Niners Nation version of the Packers site, so their SB Nation site. And it was a very funny article because they're like, the 49ers and Packers statistically are very much alike. They're alike in a lot of ways. And it drove the Packers writer nuts. But the big thing that is the difference between these two teams, one has been able to finish games and the other hasn't. And that team is the 49ers, the one that can't finish games. They couldn't finish today. What they did finish, though, were their playoff hopes and dreams. Their playoff probability has now dropped to 15% after this loss. We'll see. Cardinals and Seahawks are playing each other this week, so we'll see if maybe that percentage changes a little bit. But in any case, like it's next to nothing. Like this team is donezo, and it's kind of crazy to look at this team and know that they went to the Super Bowl in February. Like, we're not even a full year removed from that, and this is the product that they're putting on the field right now. It's pretty incredible to think. And look, say what you want about Brandon Allen starting. I don't think it would have made a difference even if Brock Purdy played in this game, to be quite honest with you, just because of what we've seen from this team this season. When we talk about positive plays getting brought back due to penalties, like it doesn't, like I saw someone tweet this out earlier, and I think I retweeted it even. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is when every other play is like a penalty, or on any positive play that you have, there's a penalty. Like whether it's Brock Purdy, Brandon Allen, or whether it was Josh Dobbs today, the 49ers are going to find a way to shoot themselves in the foot and make it so they don't win a game. Like, that's just been the story of them this season. It's just been a very, very tough loss for it's been a tough watch, I should say, of the 49ers this year. Just absolutely insane. Josh Jacobs ran for over 100 yards today, which I found this stat surprising. Apparently, it's the first player to rush for over 100 yards in the regular season against the Niners since 2021, when Justin Fields had 103. That seems crazy, and that's just regular season, right? But still, that seems I was surprised by that. Let's look at some of these stats. So as far as like third down, the Packers were 6 of 13. 49ers 3 of 10. And again, there were some times where there's a lot of things that happen on third down, but like throwing short of the sticks, for example, is one thing. When guys like Debo had 2 drops in this game, you got to lock in, man. You got to lock in what's going on. It's just kind of crazy that a couple weeks after you see Debo getting into an argument over, Jake Moody missing some kicks, you see Debo suddenly being a shell of himself too. And I shouldn't even say suddenly. Like, this hasn't been a great season for Debo altogether. It hasn't been a great season for really anyone like not named George Kittle. George Kittle has been like the only guy this season that has had a good year. Juwan Jennings, you can maybe throw in there too. Jennings had 40 yards, 5 catches today. Kittle, 82. He caught all of his 6 targets, 82 yards, touchdown. He's incredible. But aside from that, like Christian McCaffrey, I think we need to have some conversations about what's going on with Christian. 11 carries, 31 yards, 2.8 yards per carry. That is bad. It's very bad. And then to end the game, like I said, Jordan Mason did have some carries at the end where the game was pretty much over, which brought his yard per carry average to 2.7 on 3 carries. So he didn't even do that great either. But yeah, this team just looks there's nothing good going on with this team. There's no good vibes. There's nothing to latch onto. And a couple of weeks ago, I said, if the 49ers season is over in the sense of like playoff hopes and all that, I want to watch this team from a different perspective. And I want to think about the future, right? Well, today, I didn't see much from Ricky Pearsall. I think it was cool that he got to do punt returns because Jacob Cowing was out, and he had one good return, actually, that did get called back by a penalty. Who would have thought? But, aside from that, he wasn't really involved in the offense at all. On the defense, Mustafa had a couple nice plays. But ultimately, like Renardo Green had pass interference in the red zone. It was a rough game for Renardo Green, and it did seem like the Packers were going after him quite a bit in this one. I do like the physicality that Renardo Green plays with, but it bites him in the butt sometimes as well. Where he'll get those pass interference calls on him. So it wasn't his greatest game, and I did see that he actually was questionable to return. So he was dealing with a neck injury. Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, linebacker, who also plays some special teams too. He was out the remainder of the game. So injuries continue to pile up for this team, which is even more concerning going forward, what this team might look like. They play the Bills next week, and we just got 38 points hung on us by Green Bay, right? I don't think this is the last time that the 49ers are going to lose by 20 plus this season. I don't. You have Bills next week, and after that, you play the Bears. Sure, I don't know what that's going to look like. But then you have the Lions, who I know they've just been like chomping at the bit to play the 49ers. And it's not even the first time that the Lions have put up 50 plus this season. So I'm expecting the Lions to put 50 plus on this team, especially with the way the 49ers defense has been looking. I mean, when you don't have Bosa either, yikes. I mean, the pass rush at many points this game just left a lot to be desired. Leonard Floyd had a couple of sacks, which was, good. Jair Brown, like, grossly regressed this year. I was thinking he would be one of the most improved players on this team. I feel like he had a good training camp as well. Like, I don't know what happened. As soon as the season started, Jair Brown, like, dove off a cliff as far as his production. So going back to the rookies and like the young players and wanting to find some silver lining in that, I can't find a silver lining in Jair Brown right now. I can't. D Winters, like there's some good things I saw today. Again, I would love to see him more involved going forward over Devondre Campbell. Like, I think we just need to start seeing more of these young guys, and at least I could get excited about that. Because like, and maybe we even need to see more Jordan Mason over McCaffrey. And I can't believe I'm even saying that. Like, I sound stupid saying that. But like, with the way that McCaffrey has looked, I'm like, man, I mean, if you don't have any chances of making the playoffs, then what's the point of running him into the ground for a wasted season, basically, when you can, get some other guys some some reps too. I don't know. This has been a crazy year. Let me get to some of these comments. Yeah, JME says CMC doesn't look like the MVP we had last year. Crazy. There's so many aspects of this team that it's like I can't even believe this is the same team that had like offensive player of the year, Christian McCaffrey, right? Like, man, the Achilles tendonitis maybe did a number on him. I don't know what's going on with him, but he has not looked good on the ground at all. At all. And, part of it is I saw a lot of people, kind of criticizing the fact that a lot of the Christian McCaffrey runs going to the outside, that's not working. He's not finding any room to run on those outside runs. So maybe it's a little of that, but like also it's just McCaffrey overall. The one like his best run, he fumbled on his best run of the day. Just a tough watch all around for this team. And I think we know like this is probably, undoubtedly going to be a season with a lot of changes for this team. I have to say, like, with the way the team's looking, it makes those changes, I think, a little easier of a pill to swallow, because I think when the season started, or like last offseason, you'd have probably 50% of more of the fan base that would be against trading Deebo Samuel. I feel like a lot of those people, if you asked fans today, hey, what do you think if the 49ers traded Deebo Samuel like this upcoming offseason, 2024 offseason? They'd probably be like, yeah, let's do it. Like, it's just crazy how much of a difference 1 year's made. So yeah, like I think that a lot of changes are coming, and the way the season has gone, it's going to make parting with some players that maybe a year ago we would have never imagined parting with a lot easier to stomach. So yeah, at this point, the 49ers should focus on trying to get the best draft pick that they can, the highest draft pick that they can. I mean, with whatever Brock Purdy's dealing with, which is very vague, by the way, everything they've said about Brock Purdy's injury has been super vague. It started off as shoulder soreness. He got an MRI. Apparently he got a second MRI on it within a week. Like, this all happened this past week. He's gotten 2 MRIs on it. And so clearly they're still trying to figure out what's going on, and maybe there was new symptoms that popped up. I don't know. But like, it seemed like at some point the 49ers had some hope, or just thought that he would be fine for Sunday. And ultimately, as the week progressed and like maybe taking it down to Friday, is when it was like, no, he's definitely not going to be able to play. So that's concerning, because like, what do you do? Are we going to see Brandon Allen for the rest of the season? I don't know. But if something's going on with Purdy that's serious, I have to shut him down too. So yeah, even in these next couple of weeks, there's going to be a lot of tough decisions for this 49ers team to make. But I think ultimately a lot of those decisions need to be looking towards the future. What else is there to do, right? Like there's not much to hang on to for this season. So you might as well just look towards trying to better position yourself for this draft, because you're going to need to get a lot of new players on this team. And 2024, 49ers nailed that draft, but could they do it again? Well, hopefully they can get like a draft pick in around 15. I think right now they're at like 18 or something like that. If the season ended today, maybe it might be different actually today. I'll look at that later in the week, but yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, so I saw this tweet. Akash tweeted this: 49ers had chances to get in this game and make it competitive, but you can't afford these mistakes. Some of these are talked about. Saubert hold on the Deebo Samuel return which could have potentially changed the game. Like that hold right there, like that was probably one of the defining moments of the game for the 49ers, along with the Brandon Allen fumble, which is also listed here. The Deebo Samuel drop that resulted in an interception, 9 penalties for the team for 77 yards, 2 dropped interceptions by the defense in this one. Yeah, like you're gonna find it very hard to win any game when you're shooting yourself in the foot like that and you're not making the most of any opportunities. So Aaron Banks, Shanahan is speaking with with the media right now, and apparently Aaron Banks, 49ers left guard, suffered a concussion. So that suddenly puts his week 13 availability in doubt, and the 49ers already kind of hurting that offensive line. Again, Trent Williams probably more likely to play next week than this week. You have John Feliciano, who needs to be activated, in my opinion. I would like to see him activated and see where you can plug him in. I know a lot of people have said, like, Jake Brendel's not it. Let's plug in John Feliciano at center, right? See what happens. Well, Aaron Banks now dealing with a concussion, so who knows? We could see Spencer Burford at left guard. He did look a little more comfortable there. But, yeah, next week the offensive line maybe looks different too. That's what I'm saying. There's going to be, I think, a lot of changes coming. You might as well try some stuff to end the season, right? Just try some stuff with some of these younger players or just like some of these misfits on your team and see what works. Why not? Why not? Shanahan said, quote, "We all got embarrassed. No one played great," end quote. It's understatement, man. That is an understatement. And the Seahawks won today. So as far as new NFC West standings, the Seahawks and the Cardinals are now tied. But the Seahawks, since they beat the Cardinals today, would own the tiebreaker. So the Seahawks now first place in the NFC. It's kind of crazy how quickly things can shift in the NFL. I mean, the Seahawks were like at the bottom of the NFC, and they beat the 49ers. They beat the Cardinals back-to-back weeks, and now they're at the top of the division. This is kind of the plot that a lot of 49er fans wanted to see for the 49ers this season, and why a lot of people were like, hey, like the 49ers could still turn this around. And yeah, they could have. They could have, but they didn't. And they didn't because they played today how they've played all season. They played last week like they've played all season. This team has not changed. Week in and week out, I've seen no improvements from this team. None. Like zero. There's literally nothing I can hang my hat on with this team as far as improvements go. Maybe there's been like individual performances I can hang my hat on. Again, Juwan Jennings, George Kittle, they've been great. Mustafa, every once in a while, I'm like, he's going to be good, but man, there's nothing to, there's nothing to look forward to this year. That's sad. That's sad, but yeah, this was, wow. So I just saw this tweet. This is the 49ers' biggest blowout, among one of the 49ers' biggest blowout losses to the Packers in the history of the 74-game series. Actually, it is the biggest blowout loss to the Packers, 28 points. The last highest was 27 points in 1960. Yeah. I mean, you could tell the Packers did want to give it to the 49ers quite a bit, just, the way that last season ended for them. They really stepped on the gas in the fourth quarter. Can't blame them. I mean, they're exercising some demons with that win over the Niners. I can't blame them. Jordan Elliott also left this game early, and the 49ers defensive line is thin right now. I mean, it was this week without Nick Bosa, right? So Jordan Elliott dealing with a concussion as well. So again, Jordan Elliott and Aaron Banks with concussions, putting their week 13 availability in doubt. yeah, this is crazy. And the 49ers were an underdog for the first time in I think it was like all season, but I think it goes back to even last season when they were underdogs last. They open as 7-point underdogs next week for Buffalo. And another quote from Shanahan, quote, "I didn't see much from anybody today," end quote. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, we didn't see anything good from anybody at all. Crazy. And again, it's like you don't have Purdy, you're dealing with injury. You don't have Trent. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I kind of just want to look forward to next season and whatever happens this off season. I'm open to anything at this point, So I saw this stat. Josh Jacobs rushed 26 times for 106 yards, the hat trick, 3 touchdowns. Most missed tackles forced, 15. There's 15 missed tackles by the 49ers defense today. Unbelievable. And 10 in the first quarter alone. Like, yo, that is so bad. That is so bad. It's infuriating to see like these players in position, especially like I've seen Fred Warner multiple times in the last few weeks, like in position and, still missing a tackle. It's, like I said, it's been a very hard watch for the 49ers. Now, I want to talk about this Daniel Jones thing, right? Because like that's been something that popped up in the last couple of days. So for those of you that aren't aware, living under a rock or something, the Giants waived Daniel Jones a couple of days ago. He requested his release, so they granted it. And so Daniel Jones, subject to waivers, although it seems like they're expecting him to clear waivers by most reports out there. And so a number of teams have been reportedly linked to Daniel Jones and are apparently interested in him. And 49ers have been listed as one of those teams, especially with the uncertainty about Brock Purdy and whatever his injury is, which again, even in these reports, super vague. Like no one seems to know what's going on with Brock Purdy. So Daniel Jones, apparently though, wants to play for a contender, which I kind of get. Like, hey, he was on a bad team for a long time. But a lot of the contenders don't need a quarterback, so that's interesting. But maybe he just wants to repair his image and the perspective of him. I don't know. Anyway, so if the 49ers do, in fact, have interest in Daniel Jones, I am prepared for even Daniel Jones to say no. Daniel Jones isn't even interested in the 49ers right now. They're 5-6. They aren't contenders this year. So that's sad, right? Like even Daniel Jones would reject us right now. But no, I mean, if there's something seriously wrong with Brock Purdy, I have no problem with, the 49ers pursuing a quarterback who has more starting experience than Brandon Allen or Joshua Dobbs. And, I think there's some talent in Daniel Jones, but in any case, I don't see that happening just because I think Daniel Jones will have other options, better options as far as contenders go, because the 49ers are not one. So that's all I'll say about that. I'm sure we'll revisit the discussion because, we'll see if he clears waivers or not. But yeah, there's a couple other teams that I think will be interested in him. And yeah, we'll see what happens with Brock Purdy throughout this week. I really hope it isn't something serious, because if it is, man, I'd be concerned not just for this season. I'd be concerned about long term. Brock Purdy due to get paid this offseason, and he's had like 3 injuries that not like significant where he's missed that much time aside from the UCL, but it's like Yeah, like just enough injuries where you're like, I have to think about this a little bit, So hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully he's able to play next week, and we could put this all behind us, and it's not a story. But yeah, with the vagueness that the 49ers are moving with this injury, when the 49ers are vague on injuries, it's not usually a good thing. So we'll continue to, I'm sure, learn more as the days go by, what's going on, and I'll have you guys updated here on 49 Carats. So make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Audio listeners, leave a rating, leave a review. We'll continue to be doing these shows, and we'll continue to be talking about this 49ers team, no matter how bad they are. So, and we'll have fun with it, right? I promise you that. So for now, guys, try to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Maybe disassociate a little, touch some grass. I don't know, whatever, makes you happy. But for now, have a good rest of your Sunday, folks. Peace.